Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning. I want to thank you all for coming out today. It's nice to see some new faces here. And just so everybody's aware, we are recording the meetings. We are going to record these and upload them to our website after the meeting. So if there are public comments, please make sure you state your name and then limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
It's not live, just so we know. It's going to be on this evening. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
So at this time, we'll ask for public comments on agenda items only. All right, hearing none. I would like to take a moment to recognize Richard Foster. So last week we were invited to Lawrence Township to recognize Mr. Foster. He has been a tax collector in Lawrence Township since 1974. Has created many great relationships down there with that community, and again at the retirement celebration he shared a lot of his memories and recollection of his time in service. But again, as the Tioga County Board of Commissioners, we just want to give him a special thank you for his commitment and service, and our sincerest appreciation of his service to our community. So thank you. And he was actually here yesterday. He
I spent time with him, so.
was still filing some paperwork with the treasurer's office, so he still has some things to do this year, but we're thankful for his service and just wanted to recognize him quick. So, all right, minutes for December meeting.
Sign.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the December 10th meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Janice. All right, Casey, up next is personnel items.
I have a few items for the board this morning. The first few items that I'm going to go over are for information. The Prothonotary has hired Jessica Field as a clerk, as a Prothonotary and Clerk of Court's office at $14.50 per hour with benefits. We also received resignation from Helen Stone, 911 dispatcher, effective 1/16/25. We're rescinding a resignation that we received from Leah Schilling, caseworker 1 at Family Services, effective 12/3/24. We received a resignation from Ashley Marsh, drug and alcohol, effective 1/22/25. And received notification that the sheriff had a termination of Richard Koch, deputy sheriff, effective 12/10/24. The first item I have for approval for the board would be to please approve the hire of Cassandra Starren as a CNY caseworker assistant at Family Services at $16.50 per hour with benefits.
Make a motion for the approval.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The next item I have is actually to kind of group two together there for Spencer Doan and Emmeline Howell to hire both of those people at part-time on-call corrections officers at Tioga County Prison at $13.81 per hour with no benefits.
So,
Could we get copies of the agenda?
Oh, it's all right, Sandra.
Could Casey speak up a little bit? She's,
Yeah.
those of us who are deaf in the back.
sure,
Jen, would you
no
just
problem.
make a motion of who
We'll get a
does
couple copies of the
motions?
agenda.
We'll go
Thanks.
with copies. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because we are definitely in need of some part-time officers at the prison, so I'm glad that Ryan's able to find some folks to add to his team.
Yeah, and that will help on
Overtime costs.
overtime costs also. What, and we still have, we're not at full complement though with
I think we need
CNY caseworkers, right? Or is there-
Right, yeah, that's
We're
a
still
constant.
short some?
Yeah, that's a constant battle, yes.
Yeah.
Are these from Mansfield University? Are they university kids, or we don't know for sure?
I know the one definitely is.
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion for approval
So moved.
in a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Casey.
Yep, the next item I have is to approve the promotion of Dawson Stiles to full-time corrections officer at Tioga County Prison, $21.40 per hour with benefits, effective 1/5/25.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item I have is to approve the promotion of Tamara Wood to foster care caseworker 1 at Family Services at $17.65 per hour with benefits.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, up next we have an annual request from Northern Tier Regional Planning and Development Commission for $14,700. And this was being proposed to being paid through Act 13.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second the motion. They do a lot of good stuff for our regional area, so glad to support them.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, that's with a few counties. It's Bradford, Sullivan, Susquehanna, Tioga, and Wyoming counties, and come together for regional planning. And they do a lot with municipalities, helping them connect them to granting opportunities.
Small businesses.
Small businesses, they have workforce development,
Youth
community
programs, yeah.
development, yep, so, and businesses can go there, they don't have to necessarily be a member, but if they needed help figuring out how to run a business, if somebody has a good idea that wants to start a business, that's part of what they do, so it's really impactful for our region.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is IT is asking to purchase 10 servers, which will be used throughout the courthouse as well as in the fiscal department, and these will get paid from Act 13.
Is Eric here? Are
Um,
they updating? Are they replacing or are they adding
They're
on?
replacing.
They're replacing.
These are old.
And we did have a conversation with Eric to see if there was a more cost-effective way to do this. But at the end of the day, since these are servers for our security and our fiscal department, we have to keep those in-house. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for the approval of this 10 server purchases.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is a change order from CBF Contracting for the Trailhead Building to construct some additional HVAC pipes.
What?
So, Jen, do you have any agenda?
So originally, the way that the HVAC was designed, it carried some of the stuff right directly overhead and it was exposed. So with this new way, they will build wooden chases along the wall for like the piping to go through so that it's not exposed and it blends in with the wood.
Great. Thanks, Jen. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the upgrade there.
Yeah, I'll second it.
I want to have a little bit further discussion as well. You know, when this project was first kicked off, we took an opportunity to look at all of the value engineered opportunities we could take in this facility. And we knew items like this were going to come up. So initially, right off the gate, we cut about $100,000 from the budget. We changed the material that was being used. We changed roofing, windows. You know, if anything we could find a value to, again, cut the cost, keep this project under budget, we took that opportunity. So this $3,700, you know, really is just eating into that credit that we already took for the project. So.
And will you just talk real briefly, Mark, about what the funding sources are for it?
Yeah, the bulk of this project is funded through a RACB grant. There's actually 2 RACB grants that we rolled into one for the building. All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next is a 3-year agreement with MCM Consulting to provide emergency management services for 911.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
I know during the flooding, we saw really what they're worth.
Yeah.
I'm new to the group as far as the commissioner gig, we all are. But MCM was kind of a group I heard about, didn't know what they did. They came in, helped us manage our emergency responses, helped give us an overview, and kind of guided us through the flooding stuff. So it was really, I think, important for them to have them on our team.
And early on, there was someone with us from there.
Two of them, yeah.
Before Pima even
Yeah.
was on the ground. I mean, that was vital for us to
Yeah,
have.
they're also very helpful in assistance with grant management. The 911, we have a lot of funding that comes in through grant management or grant writing and asking for different things. So they've been instrumental in keeping us in the loop with a lot of things that we wouldn't have been really aware of had it not been for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and being down in EMC right now, I mean, having their services available to us
Right.
are very important, so, thank you. I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a one-year agreement with Motorola Solutions for maintenance of the radio system and microwave.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Can you let us know where that funding's coming from for this?
So that is reimbursable through the 911 funding, the Pima 911 funding. And that's 24/7 emergency response as well as the monthly preventative maintenance. So anytime we have any sort of an issue with the tower system, we can literally have someone on site within an hour to get our system back up and functional.
And just real quick, Lisa, it's nice that we have, the camera and things are being recorded because a lot of times there's a lot of questions.
Mhm.
A lot of the stuff, even when I came in, a lot of the acronyms, a lot of the stuff that they're talking about, I was like, wait, what does that stand for and what does, but one of the things is can you explain the radio system, just a 2-minute overview of real quick what that is and what that does?
So the radio system is what we use to do all of our alerting for any of the fire and ambulance associations, as well as for management of incidents in the field, communication with law enforcement units. It's used, there are many pieces of it. So we have fire frequencies, EMS frequencies, police frequencies, as well as some interagency frequencies, so that if we have some on-scene coordination with outside units that need to come in, they also have the ability to get on that frequency with us. We're tied into Potter County, which they maintain their own tower system. We do have to make sure that all of the timing is working appropriately across that whole system, so that when we key up here in Tioga County, that things are going out from that end as well, and that all the connections are appropriately maintained.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for that explanation. I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is an updated detention agreement with Union County to $85 per day for any Union County inmates that we might bring into our prison for.
I'll make that
housing.
motion.
I'll second the motion.
Just a little bit of I mean, this is a great, step forward for Tioga County. We are trying to get these detention agreements more in line with what it costs the county to house these inmates. $85 a day doesn't get us all the way there, but it is a step in the right direction to, be fair to other counties that want to house inmates in our facilities. So, anything else?
Yeah, just, before I came in here, I would hear at times that what a moneymaker having people in jail is, and that's just not the truth. It's a drain. To the auditor's credit, they've helped us with gave us some great ideas. That helped a little bit. Reviewing some of these old
Policies.
Policy and agreements we have, it was just getting worse and worse. The cost of everything has gone up, including housing, offenders. So this is a step in the right direction. I don't know that it is exactly where we'd like to be as far as that, but it's kind of baby steps in negotiating with these other counties. And the other thing too is there's this county we don't normally get too many from, but a couple of the counties, one of them in particular, is pretty regular, and it's almost, we'd like to get that to where we don't have to make money, but at least break even. So that's our goal, and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is an amendment to our current agreement with Government Software Services to upgrade our tax collector software to a web-based program.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
And
Do you have anything you want to share on that, Josh?
Sure. So this has been something that's been ongoing. We're moving to our software provider's newest platform. It's a web-based version. It'll replace our current tax collection, tax claim, also tax billing software. And it'll also be something that can be offered to our tax collectors as well in the county. That's something that has been, how do I want to say it, not really financially feasible in the past, but this is, since it's a web-based program, it'll make that a cost-effective option for other municipalities that have an elected tax collector. So it'll put everybody on the same database, everything will be integrated, so it's a nice move forward, and there's no cost for this upgrade, it's just the natural progression of that software.
And they would be able to take different kinds of payments also?
Correct. Right now, the municipalities that we collect for, 19 of our 39 municipalities, we can accept both debit, credit card payments as well as electronic check. That option's not available for the elected collectors. Them having this software would make that option available to those taxpayers in the county.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a proposal from Real Estate Appraisal and Marketing Associates. And this is for them to come out and do a professional evaluation of the Lowe's Home Center.
I'll make a motion.
No, second that.
Just with further discussion, Lowe's is appealing their reassessment. So we, part of the process is to hire a appraiser for the county side. We are partnering with the township, which is Richmond Township and
Yes.
Mansfield, Southern Tioga School District, to share in this cost, so we only have to use one appraiser, so. We have a first and a second.
How much are they trying to lower their assessment to?
I don't know, they're just appealing it at this point, there's no numbers.
Right, but
And
every
again,
time-
there'll be a portion of the agenda for public
Every
comment.
time you raise taxes, the big guys are going to appeal theirs down.
Well, we're trying to not let that happen, sir.
Okay.
So we have a first and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is an agreement with Lawrence Township to delegate their tax collection authority over to the county as a result of Mr. Foster retiring.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up, we have been in agreements with Shell Energy for our county Wellsboro electric accounts. That was coming due at the end of '24. We have signed on for another 2 years to lock in that rate, which is a better rate than we get just than going through Wellsboro Electric.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Just with further discussion, about 4 years ago, the county took the opportunity to start purchasing its power so that we didn't get hit with market rate. The market rate kind of adjusts up and down, and we took the opportunity to lock in a futures contract, and we've actually seen where it has saved us money and has well helped us budget throughout the process. And yeah, did you say this one actually went down for this agreement?
Shell?
I think that one went down a little bit, and
Shell,
natural gas went up a little.
correct. Yes, Shell went down and the other went up just slightly.
All right. We have a motion, is anything else? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And the next one is a 2-year agreement with NRG for our county Penelec accounts.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
And this one went up very slightly, is that right?
NRG used to be G. This one, it was at .096,
Yep.
so it's gone up slightly.
All right, motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is to approve the appointment of Sue Stickland to the BEST board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up, our county real estate tax refunds as listed on your agenda.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the real estate tax refunds.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is to approve 21 agreements for the Department of Human Services, which is on the agendas.
Make a motion to approve the listed agreements.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up listed there will be December 2024 payroll and benefits and accounts payable numbers.
I'll entertain a motion to approve payroll, benefits, and accounts payable for December.
I make the motion.
I'll second the motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right, we're at the point of our agenda for public comment. Again, if you have public comment, please state your name and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you. Joy.
Joy Childs, Middlebury. The agreement with Lawrence Township, are they gonna stay with the county, or is that
So
gonna be
Lawrence
open
Township
for-
had their own tax collector. They are going to move that to the county.
For
Okay.
So we're
25
gonna do-
only. It's only for this year.
That's why I was
until the
wondering.
election.
It'll be on
So
the
someone can
yes.
run for a tax collector in Lawrence
Mhm.
Township?
Yep.
They're gonna keep it with a tax collector, okay. And then for the prison, is there other counties, are they charged a fee?
They are.
They
The
are.
fee that,
And we're going to do it with
Yeah.
all the counties that use our prison for detention. We're going to, get that contract set up with all of
And
them.
there's 4, Bradford, Tioga, Union, and Potter.
So
Yeah,
they'll all be
yeah.
charged the same fee?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Hearing nothing else, the next Tioga County Board of Commissioner meeting is scheduled for February 11th. And then Commissioner news. You guys have anything you want to share?
yeah, I mean, some of the things, this commissioner news section is just kind of talk about what we're working on. And we all have our different areas, I guess you could say, that we are focused on, and then we come back to the three of us and talk it out. One of the things that's, that we're all passionate about, I think that when we came into office, this was on our list, is to reduce the overdose rates in Tioga County. Sam and I this morning, a great way to start a day is sitting on a overdose fatality review board, where you go over and look at the history of somebody that's overdosed and go through and see what kind of treatment they had or didn't have, how long they were in treatment, and then try to figure out a way to help connect these folks so this kind of stuff doesn't happen. So that we've been working on in a few different ways. We're really trying to focus on those connections of getting people, not just a treatment. A lot of times people think, oh, they'll go to a 28-day treatment and they're going to get better. It's not a broken leg where it heals. It takes reconnection and having people to talk to continuously. And honestly, someone can go to a 28-day program, have all great intentions of getting out and starting their life over, and go right back to the same situation they were in before they went in, and nothing changes. And they go back because it's what they know. So we've been working hard at trying to figure out ways to do this, and we're going to continue to work on that. So coming up in the next few months, there'll be other things that we're trying to get over the finish line. I don't know, we're all grateful to be in this position, and I can speak for all three of us when we want to be impactful in this. And it's hard because, Sam and I come kind of from the private sector of things. He was a military guy, so maybe he had a little bit more experience, but government moves slow. You know, it just does. And when I didn't realize, you know, sometimes how it gets gummed up. And we've been doing a good job, I think, of trying to streamline some stuff, but boy, it's tough. But that's all I have to report, guys. So.
Yeah, obviously we're 5 months removed from the flood, but it's still a very big thing for a lot of people every single day. We're still having committees meeting. Shane heads a department for reconstruction. I'm on the unmet needs committee. We're working into new funding coming in now from federal government to help unmet needs, but also mitigation work. So some will go help folks with repairs that are not quite getting fixed to their house. Maybe FEMA couldn't cover them. They didn't apply for FEMA, what have you. Other things with mitigation as far as trying to bring money to our communities to maybe raise some houses up or help put some flood protection in certain areas. So it's not going to be a quick process. We have a great team on board working on that from around the community. So it's ongoing. So I'm glad we did what we did early on, but it will be probably a 1 or 2 year process at least. Still continue to provide and negotiate relief to the area out in Westfield, so they are not forgotten out there.
And I just want to thank Marty and Lisa, you know, for your continued work and your whole team. I mean, Denny Colgrove came back on part-time to help with this disaster. And, you know, I met with Pima over to Westfield Township last Thursday, and the Pima was shocked by how much support the county has given our municipalities. So I'm proud of that. I hope we can get some benefits to Westfield Township, Westfield Borough. I think there's every road in Westfield Township needs resurfaced. I mean, essentially it was turned into a stream bed, but those conversations went really well last week, and I want to thank you guys for helping coordinate that. The other thing that I was proud about last week was, you know, Pima sent up a contractor to start looking at the debris in the streams. We don't know yet what that means, but the three of us have been advocating for stream maintenance and cleanup, you know, ever since the first day after the flood. And it's been a hard conversation with Pima and the Conservation District. And, you know, every time we get the governor's ear, you know, we bring up the issue of stream maintenance and getting some of these debris piles and gravel bars and really trash. There's campers still in the rivers, and, you know, Pine Creek, I think there's 4 or 5 campers down in Grub Hole and around that. Really, we need to get this debris cleaned up, and we are advocating for that. And we do hope that some of this FEMA funding will provide some benefits or some funding to get this stuff cleaned up. So more to come on that. Once they make that debris assessment report public, we will share that. I haven't seen it yet, but we're hoping maybe later this week. And then the other, you know, positive thing that came out of Washington last week that Sam kind of hit on is HUD announced that there'll be, you know, nearly $12 billion of funding available across the country for flood hazard mitigation and damage. $14.6 million of that funding will specifically be allocated to the north central part of Pennsylvania. So we are excited about that funding too. You know, that'll help us with some of our unmet needs, and, you know, maybe help clean up some of this debris and whatnot. But we are going to work with the Housing Authority on that, because for some reason it's going to kind of funnel through there in HUD. So again, as we get more information on that program, we will share it with the public. And you know, through this whole process, our number one goal, and I think I hit on this every meeting, our number one goal was to get individual assistance, which we got across the finish line. The number 2 goal was to get public assistance, which, you know, back in December we got done. Our number 3 goal, and probably our hardest goal, is going to be to clean up some of these waterways and kind of a near-term, mid-term, you know, disaster mitigation effort. So, but we are fully invested in that, and our team here and in the Conservation District, you know, with that priority, and I hope we can deliver some action items here in the coming year.
And if I can just echo that from Mark, just to explain for anyone that doesn't understand, the river cleanup, saying I'll clean up the river. There is a ton of debris. Like if you saw the pictures of how much debris is in that river, and not just campers, but uprooted trees and just, it's crazy. I mean, it's daunting. The next flood event or the next big rain, that stuff is gonna wash towards a bridge. And it's, chances are it's gonna get stuck. Not only that, there's places in the river that was 10 or 12 feet deep. Now it's 3 foot deep. It's not gonna take the volume of water. That event changed the whole dynamics of that river, which quite honestly should have been cleaned out before that. We may not have had these problems. And Mark has really, really been on this too, and we appreciate his leadership on it. We're trying the best we can, and it's easy to say, well, you need to clean up the rivers. We agree, but the funding for something that daunting is we're gonna need help, and hopefully in some of this money that, Senator Fetterman got over the finish line, there might be some in there for, mitigation. So that's what it means when we talk about river mitigation.
Well, when we talk to our partners at the state and federal level, they're like, hey, stream maintenance and cleanup is on the property owner, whoever owns the property. And, we are working with Clint Owlett's office too. There's some funding collected by the state for mineral rights underneath the waterways. So we are trying to work with our state legislators to find a funding source to do some of this maintenance as well. And again, to Shane's point, this isn't going to be quick, but we're committed to the process, and we're going to do everything we can at the commissioner level to advocate for the citizens in our community. So, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right, we will adjourn the commissioner meeting and go right into the Tioga County Salary Board. Comments for the Salary Board? Hearing none, I'll request a motion to approve the minutes for the December 10th meeting.
I will make the motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th meeting for
I will
Salary.
second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right, that was an easy meeting this month. So we will adjourn Salary Board. And we will go into the Retirement Fund Board. Comments for agenda items on the Retirement Fund Board? Hearing none, I'll request approval of the minutes for the December 10th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Up next is payment of $2,210 to Korn Ferry for December actuarial services.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make that. Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next up is the motion to pay CNN the November 24 management fees.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And next is to pay CNN December's 24's management fees.
I'll make that motion as well.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And what's there is just for information of the board.
All right. We'll adjourn the Tioga County Retirement Fund Board.
I'd like to open the Tioga County Elections Board. Any comments at this time pertaining to agenda items for election? Yes, Ms. Joy.
Joy Childs, Middlebury. I see on here that, I was wondering if there could be a list of positions open, because as a member of the Republican Committee, we have people already asking us what positions are open. And also we talked to like judge of elections, tax collectors, they don't even know that their term is up.
So we are working on that. It's kind of, we're educating ourselves. We thought it would be a quick like print off. So she has to work with every single election area and get their names in open slots. It's not a standard opening. We're trying to get her to do it sooner than later. They have till the last day before petitions go out to report that, which is kind of funky to realize that they can have that short of a deadline.
Yeah.
I think 16 or so have already responded with their stuff. She's waiting, so we might put like an unofficial list out that won't be 100% accurate, but kind of like a broad overview. And then as we get more information, try to refine it down. But it's a big concern for us as well. We're trying to work to get that out as soon as
We
possible.
couldn't just say, you
So we can
know,
advertise, say, hey, are you looking to do this? We can.
Yeah, various townships,
Right.
municipalities have supervisors and auditors, and can you just have a general list like that, not being so specific? Because every township's gonna have a supervisor and an
Right.
auditor, right?
That's what-
Tax
yeah.
collector, judge of elections, inspector of elections, they're all gonna have that, so why can't you just?
Penny's great because she wants to be very black and white and to the T with no errors. So
Okay.
that's the part where she wants to put out this is the list, no questions asked. We want to do a general thing, so we're trying to work to see if we can do a compromise of here's what we expect, and then as time goes on, we can refine it down to the exact openings. So, but yes.
Because we share in your passion that we need to get those positions posted so people know, and hopefully get the next person to, come forward and be a township supervisor or an auditor, or, whatever position's open, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions at this time? Seeing none, I'll move to approve the minutes from the December 10th meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I have a first.
I'll second.
A first and a second, all in favor with aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Yeah, as listed, so she's working through right now, to get those identified openings, so we can post that as soon as possible. Upcoming, we have the important dates, as far as petition packets being available. The first day for signatures. If you are getting petitions, make sure you don't get anything signed before the 18th. If you get issued on Friday the 14th and get it signed on the 16th or 15th, it's going to be invalid. So make sure you do abide by those rules for getting signatures. March 11th will be your last day to circulate those packets if you do have one. And then May 20th will be here pretty soon with our first primary election for this cycle. Pending anything else, we'll move to adjourn out of the election board.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion, a second, adjourn.
Where's Penny? Is she not here?
Thank you all for coming out today. It's good to see a bunch of
Thank you.
folks interested. So.